Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you may be in the world. Thank you for joining me for another edition of the True Conductor Show. Man, um, today is the 10th of October, the last day for a month in Proverbs. We started on the 11th of September, and we're going to the 10th of October. All right, Proverbs is the one book in the Bible that has a chapter for every day of the month. There are 31 chapters in Proverbs, and there are 31 days in a month. And when it's not 31 days, just read all forward to catch up, and you can start out on that date. Okay? And King Solomon was the author of Proverbs, and he was the wisest man ever, and no man will be as wise. So I think you probably could learn something from him. Okay? Now, let's pray and get into the word. Father, I thank you for another day. And let me say this, man, about your prayers. See, a lot of people get into these extravagant, long-winded prayers, and man, just keep your stuff simple that you can repeat, because it's the repetition that's going to produce the results. Okay? Keep your stuff simple. You ain't got to be impressive and, hooping and hollering and all that other stuff. Man, just say a simple prayer and get it over with. Father, I thank you for another day around your word. Speak through my mind, speak through my heart, Father, and speak through my lips, so that I may precisely be able to articulate this word with wisdom and understanding to pierce the hearing of your children, so that we may live the righteous lifestyle you have ordained for us to pursue. All right? In Jesus' name, amen. Now, chapter 10, verse 1. Wise saying of Solomon, the Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son makes a glad father, but a foolish son is grief to his mother. Listen, a wise son makes a glad father, but a foolish son is grief to his mother. Why do you think a wise son makes a glad father? Matter of fact, y'all know how I like to do. I like to give some definitions as I go along. So let's look up that word wise. Okay? Let's look up this word wise. Wise. Wait a minute. Let me get definition, because there's a lot of other stuff up in here. Okay. Wise. Having or showing experience, knowledge, and good judgment. Wise. Having or showing experience, knowledge, and good judgment. The Bible say a wise son makes a glad father, but a foolish son is grief to his mother. Verse 2, treasures of wickedness profit nothing. Listen to this. Treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivers from death. Okay? Listen, treasures of wickedness. That's money, that's income. That's a source. And notice treasures is plural. So treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivers from death. Verse 3, the Lord will not allow the righteous soul to famish. God diggity dog. Listen to this, y'all. Verse 3, the Lord will not allow the righteous soul to famish. Let's look up that word famish. Because see, we coming into some situations right now. Let's see here. Famish. To cause to suffer severely from hunger. To cause to suffer severely from hunger. And you know, when I see this verse right here, I look at this stuff that's going over in Israel right now. Man, there are some of God's people caught up in that madness over there in Israel. Okay? And I'm telling you, ain't nothing gonna happen to them. Even with them cutting the water. Listen, the Lord will not allow the righteous soul to famish, but he casts away the desire of the wicked. And see, and this is why you need to get right now about how you gonna live, because when times get tough, see, rich folk ain't got to worry about food and gas and traveling because they got the resources to do that. It's the poor people that's gonna suffer, the ones that's living on the edge from paycheck to paycheck are the ones that's gonna suffer when times get hard. Okay? And listen, verse 3, the Lord will not allow the righteous soul to famish, but he casts away the desire of the wicked. Okay? Verse 4, he who has a slack hand becomes poor, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. Verse 4, he who has a slack hand becomes poor. Man, let's look up that word slack. Slack. Not held tightly. Loose. Irresponsible. Careless. That's slackness. When you're irresponsible. When you take stuff for granted. That's slack. Listen. He who has a slack hand becomes poor, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. All right, so let's look up that word diligent. Diligent. Having or showing care and conscientiousness in one's work or duties. You about your business, man. When you are diligent, listen, verse 4, he who has a slack hand becomes poor, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. Verse 5, he who gathers in summer is a wise son. He who sleeps in harvest is a son who causes shame. Let me turn some air on in here. Forgot, man. Every time I come in here and get in this word, boy, it get hot up in this room, man. It get hot up in here. I ain't lying. All right. Verse 5. He who gathers in summer is a wise son. He who sleeps in harvest is a son who causes shame. Verse 6. Blessings are on the head of the righteous, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. Blessings, verse 6, blessings are on the head of the right. Let's look up that word righteous. See, because a lot of people try to make that perfection. A person who's morally right or virtuous. See, when you live a righteous lifestyle, man, you ain't gonna cheat nobody. You ain't gonna deceive nobody. You ain't gonna lie to nobody. You know, you're gonna be straight up with people in your integrity when you walk in the light. Didn't say you were perfect. Didn't say you wouldn't cuss a mofo out. Didn't say you wouldn't get mad. It didn't say that. It says you are harmless. You ain't gonna hurt nobody when you live a righteous lifestyle. And that's what, and seeing the devil got Christians thinking it's perfect. First thing they want to say when you talk about living a righteous lifestyle, well, ain't nobody perfect. It ain't about perfection. It's not about perfection. God know you ain't perfect, but he expect for you to be compassionate to your fellow man. Verse 7. The memory of the righteous is blessed, but the name of the wicked will rot. Listen to this. The memory of the righteous is blessed. What does that mean, True Conductor? What's going on, gamer? See, when you talk about somebody that live a righteous lifestyle, let me give you an example. Let's take Harriet Tubman. See, when you talk about Harriet Tubman, you don't talk about her in a negative way. You don't talk about her at all in a negative way. But now, when you talk about somebody like John Wilkes Booth, who shot Lincoln, or the dude that Lee Harvey Oswald that shot Kennedy, allegedly, you know, that's what they saying, these alleged, okay? All right, because we do know that sometimes history does lie, all right? But the memory of the righteous is blessed, but the name of the wicked will rot. Verse 8, the wise in heart will receive commands, but a prating fool will fall. The wise in heart will receive commands. How does the wise in heart receive commands? Intuition. Intuition. And right now, the most valuable thing that you have in this critical day and time is your intuition. That's what's going to either save you or put you in harm's way. Okay? If you don't follow it, it can put you in harm's way. I'm telling you, man, when a thought come to your mind, don't question it. Do it. Do it. Don't even question it. Do it. That's you know. Oh man, by the way, my grandson is in this play about Louis Armstrong, and it's going to Broadway. They just opened in New Orleans last week. My daughter went down to surprise him in New Orleans. And today they're going to Chicago. So at the end of the month, next week, they're having a show in Chicago. And I sure would like to be there. I really would like to be in Chicago to support him. And I'm believing, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm believing that I'm going to be in Chicago. Because for me to be in Chicago means I ain't going to be here. And if I ain't here, I got to have some money. So I'm believing God for that money to get to Chicago to see my grandson. He's playing the actor who's actually playing Louis Armstrong is faking like he's playing the trumpet. It's really my grandson who's playing the trumpet. But the actor is pantomiming. But it's my grandson backstage that's playing. And he just graduated from college, Michigan State. And then landed in a Broadway play playing one of the greatest trumpet players ever, Louis Armstrong. Man, you can't get no better than that. You can't get no better than that. And see, this goes back, listen, this goes back to blessings are on the head of the righteous, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. Blessings are on the head of the righteous. I mean, everybody that you and that come under your umbrella gonna be blessed. That's what I'm talking about. All right, verse 8. The wise in heart will receive command, but a prating fool will fall. Let's look up that word prating. Prating. Someone who goes on and on without a purpose. Got a gift to gab and ain't got nothing to talk about. Listen, someone who goes on and on without a purpose. Listen, the wise in heart will receive commands from your entity, but a prating fool will fall. And see, that prating fool is pretending like they know, like they got the answer. See, they that good that they can fool you that to pretend like they know what they doing, and they really don't. Verse 11. The mouth of the righteous is a well of life, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. See that? Thank you, Lord. Listen to this again. Wait a minute. Verse 9. He who walks with integrity walks securely, but he who perverts his way will become known. Let me read that again, verse 9. He who walks with integrity walks securely, but he who perverts his way will become known. Let's look up that word, pervert. Pervert. Someone who has some unacceptable practices or tendencies is perverted. Somebody that has some unacceptable or unacceptable practices or tendencies is perverted. Listen, he who walks with integrity walks securely, but he who is a liar, who's a cheater, who's a deceiver, who is a divider, his ways will become known. Verse 10, he who winks with the eye causes trouble, but a prating fool will fall. Listen, he who winks with the eye causes trouble. You ever been talking to somebody and and they give you a wink. He who winks with the eye causes trouble, but a prating fool will fall. Let's look up that word, prating. Again, we just looked that up. Prating, they loud. They ain't got nothing to say. Just an empty wagon. Verse 11. The mouth of the righteous is a well of life, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. Verse 12. Hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all sins. Listen, hatred stirs up strife. Let's look up that word strife. 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 Conflict, antagonism, quarrel, struggle, clash. Person that always causes confusion is strife. Listen, hatred stirs up strife, confusion, division, animosity. Okay, that's what hatred stirs up. But love covers all sin. Man, listen. And that ain't easy. I had one day down at the White House, I had this guy to actually steal my bucket. And I probably had close to $200 in that bucket. Okay, at least 100. I had for months. I've been just wasn't touching the change, just letting them drop it in the bucket. Had at least over $100 worth of change in there, and he got everything. Right, and when they caught him in less than an hour. They followed that dude on camera and went right to him. And they called me, and because my phone silenced unknown numbers, the officer left a voicemail. And by the time I realized I had got a call, I called back. He said, man, we had him, but we had to let him go. All right. If you want to press charges, somebody come talk to you tomorrow. All right. The next day, the guy came and said, no, he didn't come. He didn't come the next day. The following day, that Thursday, the dude came back. That stole my bucket came back. And when the Secret Service officer came, he said, Don, listen, the guy that stole your money, there he is right down by the gate. They're preparing the arrest warrant now for him. Do you want to press charges? I said, man, if he's that stupid that he can do this and come back, let him sit out on the street. I'm not, and that night, all I could hear in my intuition was, he who overlooks a sin, overlook a sin. Overlook the sin that's committed to you. And sometimes that's hard to do. Man, when people treat you wrong, when they do you right, when they do you wrong, and I can tell you, even as far as my job was concerned, man, I had my job stolen from me. It took me a long time. Man, I had to overlook that. I had to say, Lord, I forgive that. I forgive them for doing, because I'm still better off. I'm still better off than I was when I was working for Metro. 13. Wisdom is found on the lips of him who has understanding, but a rod is for the back of him who is devoid of understanding. See, let's look up that word devoid. 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 Entirely lacking. Entirely lacking. You ain't you ain't nothing but a shell. You ain't got no substance whatsoever. All right? Listen. Wisdom is found on the lips of him who has understanding. All right? And see, wisdom is knowledge, understanding is how to use it. Wisdom is knowledge, understanding is how to use it. And you got a lot of people that got knowledge, but they don't know how to use it. That's why you have to go and train. You can't just jump in a plane talking about you're going to be a pilot. Man, you got to get some wisdom. You got to get some experience. Okay? Verse 14. Wise people store up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. Verse 15. The rich man's wealth is a strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. Listen, the rich man's wealth is a strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. It's just that simple. And who is the one that's always getting a short end of the stick? The poor. Verse 16. The labor of the righteous leads to life. The wages of the wicked to sin. Okay? Verse 17. He who keeps instructions is in the way of life, but he who refuses correction goes astray. Man, that's some of these young kids right now. You can't tell them nothing. That's the problem. Listen, he who keeps instruction is in the way of life, but he who refuses correction goes astray. You got some of these young kids, man, they know everything. You can't tell them nothing. They got all the answers and don't know nothing. Here it is. He who keeps instruction, right, is in the way of life, but he who refuses correction goes astray. And you refuse correction because you won't listen. Okay? Verse 18. Whoever hides hatred has lying lips, and whoever spreads slander is a fool. Listen to this. Verse 18. Whoever hides hatred has lying lips. How does one hide hatred? They always throwing a rock and hiding their hand. That's how they hide hatred. By trying to put it off on somebody, projecting something on somebody else, when in reality, they talking about themselves. But they will use somebody else as the example. Okay? Let's see here. Verse 14. Wise people store up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. Verse 15. The rich man's wealth is his strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. Verse 16. The labor of the righteous leads to life. The wages of sin, the wages of the wicked to sin. Verse 17. He who keeps instruction is in the way of life, but he who refuses correction goes astray. Verse 18. Whoever hides hatred has lying lips, and whoever spreads slander is a fool. Verse 19. In the multitude of words, sin is not lacking, but he who refrains his lips is wise. Listen, In the multitude of words, sin is not lacking, but he who refrains his lips is wise. And you know, when I see this verse right here, you know who I see? Donald Trump. I see Donald Trump right here. If you want to see Trump in the scripture, look. In the multitude of words, sin is not lacking. But he who refrains his lips is wise. And that's the one thing you can say about Trump. Whatever comes up, comes out. He ain't got no discipline whatsoever of his words and what he's saying. All right? And you're going to find people like that they'll say whatever comes up is going to come out. And then the people you watch. Verse 20. The tongue of the righteous is choice silver. The heart of the wicked is worth little. Listen, the tongue of the righteous is choice silver. The heart of the wicked is worth little. Why is that? Because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth will speak. And the tongue of the righteous is choice silver. See, they ain't going to spread no division, no animosity, no hatred. They're going to spread unity, love, compassion. But the heart of the wicked is worth little because all that's in there is sin. Verse 21. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for lack of wisdom. The lips of the righteous feed many. How is that? With your words. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for lack of wisdom. All right? Verse 22. The blessing of the Lord makes one rich, and he has no sorrow with it. And see, and let me show you this scripture right here. You ever seen these quote unquote Christians that go out and get in debt, buying new cars, new house, new whatever, and will turn around and say, look how the Lord done blessed me. Okay? I've done it myself. Went out and got in debt and was the blessing of the Lord makes one rich, and he had no sorrow with it. And the very thing that I was claiming that the Lord blessed me with, I got repossessed. But I swore up and down, and the Bible say, the blessing of the Lord make one rich, and he has no sorrow with it. See, so if you getting some stuff repossessed, or foreclosed, or taken from you, God didn't give that to you. Because if God gave it to you, you wouldn't have no sorrow with it. Matter of fact, you probably would have got it free if God gave it to you, because he ain't going to give you no debt. See, when God starts doing for some stuff for you, it's unexplainable. You don't have an explanation for it. See, people just marvel, and you're going to start watching God start moving. You're going to see it, man. 23. To do evil is like a sport to a fool, but a man of understanding has wisdom. Verse 24. The fear of the wicked will come upon him. Listen to this. Verse 24. The fear of the wicked will come upon him, and the desire of the righteous will be granted. Let me read that again. Verse 24. The fear of the wicked will come upon him, and the desire of the righteous will be granted. Verse 25. When the whirlwind passes by, the wicked is no more, but the righteous have an everlasting foundation. God diggity dog. See what that's telling you? Listen, when the whirlwind passes by, the wicked is no more, but the righteous have an everlasting foundation. Why is that true? Because when the whirlwind comes, see, the righteous have a place of refuge. Oh, you don't believe that? Let me show you. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him will I trust. 91st Psalm. And the Bible is saying right here, listen, when the whirlwind passes by, the wicked is no more, but the righteous has an everlasting foundation. Let's look up that word foundation. 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 The lowest load-bearing part of the building or structure. The lowest load-bearing part. Listen. When the whirlwind passes by, the wicked is no more, but the righteous have an ever. Speaking of whirlwind, let me show you this. Speaking of whirlwind, listen. This is Proverbs chapter 1, verse 27. When your terror comes like a storm and your destruction comes like a whirlwind, when distress and anguish come upon you, then they will call upon me, but I will not answer. Listen, so the Bible say, when the whirlwind passes by, the wicked is no more, but the righteous have an everlasting foundation. And see, and what that should tell you, man, if you live in a righteous lifestyle, even in the midst of a storm, you got protection. When you live a righteous lifestyle, no matter what's going on, oh man, let me go back and show you this. Listen. Verse 7 of the 91st Psalm. 1,000 may fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. Only with your eyes shall you look and see the reward of the wicked. Verse 9, because you have made the Lord, who is my refuge, even the Most High, your dwelling place. Verse 10, no evil shall befall you, nor shall any plague come near your dwelling, for He will give His angels charge over you when you live a righteous lifestyle. See, you can demand some stuff from God, and you got a lot of wicked people out here praying to God and think He gonna answer them because they know Jesus. And He's telling them, I don't know you. You might know me, but I don't know you. And see, and that's what you need to be worrying about. Do God know you? When in these last days and times, does God know who you are? Can he identify you by your lifestyle? Can he protect you because of the lifestyle you live in? And see, that's why it's important right now. Because even when chaos is all around you, God is going to lift you up, man. You won't dash your foot against a stone. Now that's real talk right there. Listen. Let me start that again. Verse 24. The fear of the wicked will come upon him, and the desire of the righteous will be granted. Verse 25. When the whirlwind passes by, the wicked is no more, but the righteous have an everlasting foundation. Verse 26. As vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes, so is a lazy man to those who send him. Verse 27. The fear of the Lord prolong days, but the years of the wicked will be shortened. Verse 28. The hope of the righteous will be gladness, but the expectation of the wicked will perish. You know, there's a lot of wicked people out here believing for miracles. There are a lot of people out here living this LGBTQ lifestyle, thinking God is going to answer their prayers. You got a lot of people out here fornicating, committing adultery, thinking God is there for them. And he ain't. Verse 29. The way of the Lord is strength for the upright, but destruction will come to the workers of iniquity. Verse 29. The way of the Lord is strength for the upright, but destruction will come to the workers of iniquity. Man, let's look up that word, iniquity. Iniquity, immorally or grossly unfair. Listen, verse 29. The way of the Lord is strength for the upright, but destruction will come to the workers of iniquity. And that's grossly unfair behavior. Okay? Immoral, grossly unfair behavior. Verse 30. The righteous will never be removed, but the wicked will not inhabit the earth. Listen to this. The righteous will never be removed, but the wicked will not inherit the earth, will not inhabit the earth. Verse 31. The mouth of the righteous bring forth wisdom, but the perverse tongue will be cut out. Verse 32. The lips of the righteous know what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked, what is perverse. See, when you got a wicked person, all they can talk about is sin. That's what they know. That's what they specialize in. That's what they specialize in. That's why a lot of Christians, this is why a lot of Christians are getting screwed. Because they're walking up to people asking them, you believe in Jesus? See, that's putting the person on notice. They might not believe in Jesus, but they could tell you, yeah, just to see where you're coming from, to see what you know. And you actually, and because they tell you, yeah, you drop your guard. See, and I just had a guy at the White House yesterday come up talking to me about Jesus. I said, man, take that Jesus crap on away from here. You ain't got to ask me, tell me, do I believe in Jesus? Listen to my conversation. will tell you exactly what I believe in. See, when you're listening to conversation and people don't know you listening, see, they'll say any and everything. But when they know you listening, they're going to say what they want you to hear. And that's why you make a mistake, man, by asking people too many questions about their belief. Listen to them. And it'll reveal itself. You ain't got to ask. You ain't got to worry about deception. You ain't got to worry about somebody tricking you. All right, man. That was the end of chapter 10, and that's been a month. We did a month in Proverbs. We did the 31 chapters. Okay, we did the 31 chapters, and I think I'm still gonna do my Saturday in Proverbs. I know I'm gonna still do that. Every Saturday, I still do Proverbs. But, matter of fact, Bernie, one of my biggest supporters. Bernie Everett is my biggest supporter. Everett Overton is my biggest supporter. Bernie is my next biggest supporter. And then Laura, and the only reason I don't call her last name because I don't want nobody, let her come up in here in peace. Okay, if she's in here, if she ever comes. But that's my third biggest supporter. All right, and I just keep doing what I know how to do. That's what I keep doing. What I know how to do. And sometimes it is discouraging. To not see the results that you want to see. I mean, with all this darkness and confusion and division and animosity, man, it's kind of disheartening that people can see, man. I'm trying to unite people, and nobody wants to be a part of that. Everybody want to sit back and watch and look, like unity is gonna come on its own. You got to get involved in unity, man. You got to get involved in putting some positive energy into the atmosphere. And right now, you have people that are afraid to put some positive energy into the atmosphere. Thank you, Lord. And all they doing is putting in fear, and that's all we getting back is fear. That's all you getting, because you don't want to put nothing else out. You putting out, unbelief, suspicion, doubt. See, and you agree with it, man. You agree with it, but you're scared. And that's the fear you getting back is what you putting out, because you are afraid to get involved. You're afraid to participate, and you're wondering why things ain't working for me. Okay? Well, again, God said a lot of things. God said a lot of things, Luna, that people ain't listening to. That ain't the only thing God say that they ain't listening to. My hat got this little dent in it. So let me try to get this dent out of my hat here. Okay? That ain't the only thing, man. That God say love your neighbor as yourself. They ain't listening to that either. Okay? So there's a whole lot of things God's saying people ain't listening to. It ain't fear no man. Shoot, that's easy. What about love your neighbor as yourself? They ain't listening to that either. Honor thy mother and thy father. They ain't listening to that either. So I just can't point at one thing, what God said. God's saying a lot that people ain't paying attention to. And I'm just trying to show you, man, when you live a righteous lifestyle, it has a purpose, it has a meaning, and it has some rewards to it. All right? So that's it, man. That was my Proverbs. Man, I sure hope y'all enjoyed this month. Even if you didn't, I enjoy it because it's enlightening to me. to be able to articulate some of this and try to explain it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Man, I got to layer up. It's cold out here. I don't know where y'all at, but it's cold. Listen. See. I'm in the. Let me see how cold. See, it's 62 degrees. 62 degrees, and with a little wind, and you sitting out there, and you see, and people, and see, my days going out looking like this is over. What's going on, Bernie? How you doing? That's my man right there. All right. No, see, my days going out looking like this is over. I got to bundle up. If I'm gonna stay healthy, and if I want to sit out in the elements like that, because I was a former street vendor, so I worked in all kinds of weather, and even though I'm now older, where than I was, I get colder quicker than I did when I was younger. Okay, and so I got to bundle up, and then too, this is a time of year that, like, I can stretch my shirts. In the summertime, I can get one wear out of a shirt. But like now, since I'm not dressing up, going out on the street like this here, man, I can get 2-3 wears out of this shirt. Okay? All right? I can get 2 or 3 wears out of this. So this time of year, help me. Bernie in Los Angeles. Welcome. Los Angeles, boy, they got some problems in Los Angeles. I ain't lying. And see, and this is why I'm trying to show y'all, man. And I'm trying to show you in real time that when you come out, there is no way that I can explain, how I've been able to stay in this hotel from the time that I've been here up until now. Okay? I can't. It's just God, man. God done open up a way. God opened up a way for me to still be in here and to still be able to do this. And I've had days, man, where I had to go from day to day. I've had days where in this hotel, I've had to go day to day. And one time, man, I ain't even had no money. And they had charged me double, and I didn't even know it. And I couldn't pay the bill. And I told the guy, I said, listen, I got to pack up. Let me just take my time. I'm going to pack up. And about 10 minutes later, the manager knocked on my door. He said, hey, wait a minute. You paid for a day. A day is in here. I was looking to see how I can help you, and you done paid for a day. So you good. Okay? And then one time, man, I told a girl, I said, look, I said, I just ain't got the money. I got to go. Okay? I got to go. I got to pack up and leave. I just don't have the money. Man, I came back to my room. That girl came back and said, I ran your card and it worked. Prior to that, it didn't work. And then she reran it again and it worked. It worked. I can't explain that. I have no explanation to that. Only thing I can tell you, if it wasn't for the grace of God, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't even be in here if it wasn't for the grace of God. Okay? I'd be sleeping in my car. Wouldn't even be going live because I can't shower. Can't do none of that. Okay? So I'm still gonna go out here and still try to unite people, still try to get people to come together in all this confusion and all this chaos, still try to be the voice of reason. Because right now, the activity at the White House is getting ready to pick up. Because, and see, this war in Israel is going to divide the world. See, Israel don't have carte blanche like they used to, where anything they say goes. And see, and I'm wondering, man, did they allow this to happen to start the war? Because Israel's supposed to be, about their business. So how all of a sudden somebody can get the drop on you when you're supposed to be so thorough? How somebody get the drop on you? And that's when how they get the drop on Israel? Not Israel. How they get the drop on them? Okay. Well, there's good and bad in everybody. And right now, it's the bad people that are in control. Because the good people are scared. The good people don't want... Man, with all this chaos and confusion going on, this is the ideal time for some company to step up with a unity message for the world. And they don't see it. With all of this darkness that's going on, the first company to step up to try to unite the world gonna get paid. Gonna get paid. Because everybody else is scared. I wished I had the money to sponsor myself. Man, I get paid. I'm as simple as that. That is, and see, listen to me, y'all. Listen to me. Listen to me, people. This is a distraction. Because when you sit, and you need to keep your eyes focused on that White House. Because this is the ideal time to soften the transfer of power from Biden to Harris. This war right here, right now, is the one thing that can soften the transfer of power from Biden to Harris. See, people ain't going to be with that, but they got a distraction now. This war in Israel is going to kind of dampen some of the emotions about that. And I'm telling y'all better keep your eye on that White House. They looking for an exit ramp for Biden right now. Let me say that again. They are looking. They ain't gonna tell you that they're looking for an exit ramp for him right now. They got you thinking he gonna run again, and they looking for an exit ramp to get him off the scene. Okay? As simple as that. And watch what I tell you. Okay? This war is the only thing that can soften that transfer of power. That's the only thing that's going to soften it, is this war in Israel. Okay? And that's why they playing it up. See, that's why they doing this, because they trying to make some behind-the-scenes maneuvers. This is the chance for them to, and they ain't going to get it again. So they going to take advantage of it now. Y'all keep your eyes on that White House. Okay? That's what you need to be watching. That White House. Okay? And I'm going to tell y'all, because one of them days, they're going to make us move all the way back down to I Street. See, normally, we have to move up to 8th Street, and we still can see the front of the White House. But when something jump off in that joint, you ain't going to even be able to see the front of the White House. See, they're going to move you back to I Street, where you can't see nothing about what's going on. Watch. And I pray to God, the day that it happened, I'm there. Okay? Speaking of the White House, let me get ready. And I got to get ready and get down there, man, and get started. You know, to try to do my thing, man. Try to and see one of the things that I've started doing is getting people to sing their national anthem in front of the White House. And maybe if we can get some adults to start showing some patriotism, these young kids might fall in line. Okay? Maybe if we can get some of these adults to start showing some unity, some of these young kids will pick up the habit too. But right now, all they're seeing from us is division and chaos. And that's all we're showing them. All right? All right, y'all, I got to get layered up and get out of this club.